Fox 10 Midday starts now.
Hey there and welcome into Fox 10 Midday. Happy Friday. We're glad you joined us here at 11. Jen, a bit of a soggy start to our day and the weekend's looking like a great time to take a nap.
Yeah,
right?
That is exactly right, especially heading into tomorrow. It's going to be a little stormy out there, so it's important to keep in mind outdoor plans if you're heading to any events. We have so much happening across the Gulf Coast tomorrow. Please check in with event organizers, but also we'll continue to try and keep you updated on fox10tv.com and on our app by sending some of those push notifications your way if there are any cancellation or delays to any of those events taking place. But here's a look at conditions across the southeast. Just more of that cloud cover really beginning to ramp up. Some of those spotty showers are possible earlier this morning. We've really started to see some of those active closer towards around the 9 to 10 a.m. hour. And now things are starting to turn a little more quiet. Some of these storms, or really these showers, they're just starting to lose some of the steam that they had. Just starting to see some light isolated sprinkles closer towards portions of Mobile, down towards Chanchula or up towards Chanchula. Just starting to see some of those heavy downpours just continuing. Access looking a lot better. And then for portions of Baldwin County, Stapleton, White House Forks, just starting to see that one isolated cell out there. So we're seeing less and less of this rain coverage, which is great because that trend is only going to continue heading into the early part of this afternoon. Futurecast delayed just a little bit with what I'm anticipating heading into the remainder of your Friday, and that's going to be more of those quiet conditions, cloudy skies, some peaks of sunshine out there. But for any of those Friday night plans, not too concerned. We're going to continue to stay dry out there if you are traveling heading into this evening, especially portions of central to northern Mississippi or Alabama. You might possibly see some of those impacts, but here locally, things are going to be looking up for this evening. A live view outside from our Navigator Credit Union camera at the Battleship. There's those cloudy skies. Winds are breezy out of the south. Still some peaks of sunshine, but temperature still feeling warmer, feeling more like 84. Taking a look at our weather headlines heading into today, more of that isolated rain will be possible, but low rain chances. Evening plans, those are looking good, but overnight those storms begin to push back in, continuing into our Saturday morning, our afternoon, and our evening. And some of those could be a little bit stronger. I'll be breaking down more details and the timing coming up in just a little bit. Ashlyn.
All right, Jen, thank you. After signing a minerals deal, the Trump administration says it's committed to supporting peace efforts in Ukraine. But officials say the U.S. will scale back its role as a mediator if there is no major breakthrough soon. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera has more.
More devastation in Ukraine this morning. Russia launching a large-scale drone attack in the southeast, injuring dozens of people and killing one. With Moscow appearing far from peace, the Trump administration is shifting its diplomatic approach, saying it's up to Ukraine and Russia to end the conflict.
We're done with losing thousands and thousands of young people.
Efforts to broker peace between the two sides have largely stalled. Ukraine has agreed to U.S. ceasefire demands, but so far, Russia has only offered a 3-day pause in fighting to mark a holiday next week. Secretary of State Marco Rubio warns President Trump could walk away from discussions if there is no major breakthrough soon.
Not that a war in Ukraine is not important, but I would say what's happening with China is more important in the long term for the future of the world. Obviously, Iran's nuclear ambition.
It comes just days after the U.S. signed a minerals deal with Ukraine. The agreement increases U.S. involvement in Ukraine's economy and serves as a partial security guarantee, though Russian officials say it means President Trump has forced Kyiv to pay for future U.S. military aid.
This is a generational relationship that the United States has signed into with Ukraine. No doubt the emotional response for getting from Putin is understandable from his perspective.
As part of any ceasefire deal, the Kremlin is demanding the recognition of the Ukrainian territories it took by force as part of Russia. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
And also this morning, Lebanese authorities warning the Palestinian Hamas group not to carry out any attacks from Lebanon or they will face, quote, the harshest measures. The threats came earlier this morning during a meeting of Lebanon's top military body, which was attended by senior officials, including the country's president, prime minister, army commander, and heads of security services. This warning comes weeks after several Lebanese and Palestinians were detained for allegedly firing rockets from Lebanon into northern Israel. In the meantime, the UN's Aid Coordination Agency says Gaza is inching toward, quote, running on empty. She says hospitals there are reporting running out of blood as mass casualties continue. And fuel is being rationed to keep only the most critical operations running. Hundreds of thousands of people have been forced to flee in the last 6 weeks alone.
After nearly 18 months of bloodshed, Gaza lies in ruins. Rubble fills the streets, and the sound of children play is punctuated by the roar of explosions. Many nights, blood-curdling screams of the injured pierce the skies, following the deafening sound of yet another explosion.
Well, she also says OCHA remains ready to resume deliveries if the 2-month Israeli blockade of the Strip can be lifted. Well, a shakeup at the White House as President Trump revamps his national security staff with the surprise reassignment of National Security Advisor Mike Waltz. Waltz is being nominated by the president to be the next U.S. ambassador to the UN. Replacing Waltz as the interim National Security Advisor will be Secretary of State Marco Rubio. The White House describes the Waltz reassignment as a promotion, but some believe it may be delayed fallout from the controversial text exchange that landed him in hot water. You might remember when he accidentally added a reporter to a Signal group chat where U.S. attack planes against the Houthis were shared. For now, Secretary of State Marco Rubio will be taking on Waltz's duties as National Security Advisor while he keeps his current job. Reaction from both parties was swift.
The Trump security team is a hot mess. And the one who should go is not the fall guy, Michael Waltz. It is the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, who is responsible. He should be held accountable. He should be fired right now.
Donald Trump has a history of dismissing people rather quickly if they don't meet his expectation. On the case of Mike and Signalgate and all of that, it was a pretty big breach. It was a pretty big problem, and I personally, I think he owned up to it, which is noble to begin with, and took full quote responsibility.
So what's next? Waltz heads to the UN, assuming he's confirmed by the Senate, and Democrats see a battle brewing. It's not clear yet when that confirmation hearing will happen, but experts say to expect a grilling for Waltz and a very narrow vote if he makes it through. And new at 11, President Trump unveils his budget priorities today, and he's calling for billions in cuts in federal spending, while his tariffs are about to have a larger impact on consumers by hitting their smaller purchases. Fox's Caroline Shively has more from Washington.
Republicans debating President Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill now have his budget blueprint to guide them, and Democrats say the cuts go too deep.
If Republicans are successful in jamming down an extreme budget into signature into law, then they own that. It's on them.
The Wall Street Journal was first to report the Trump budget plan contains $557 billion in non-defense spending, a cut of $163 billion from last year. It increases money for defense, border security, and air safety, and makes cuts to education, environmental, and foreign aid programs.
It will be the biggest bill ever passed in the history of our Congress, our Senate, and Congress.
While overall spending shrinks 22%, the Pentagon budget gets a 13% boost.
We say we're going to make all these cuts, and then we turn right around and we give all the money to the war pimps at the Pentagon.
Employment numbers out Friday show businesses added a healthy 177,000 jobs in April, leaving unemployment at 4.2%.
This is another great jobs report. Exactly what the market expected, better than expected.
The budget rollout comes on the same day a tariff loophole is closing that lets shipments under $800 come to the U.S. duty-free. Its expiration could jack up the price of Chinese super low-cost sites like Shein and Temu. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
And last night, President Trump delivered the commencement address at the University of Alabama at Tuscaloosa. The president's speech was his first address to graduates in his second term and comes as he's marking the first 100 days of his administration. Former Alabama head football coach Nick Saban introduced the president in front of a packed Coleman Coliseum. The president told the students they're entering the country's, quote, golden age.
You're graduating at an exciting time for our nation, a period of both extraordinary change and incredible potential and what will be unbelievable growth. You're going to see that very soon.
Now, the president also told graduates that they have every opportunity to use their skills to make the U.S. a fiercely competitive country. Well, we're 116 days away from Mobile's municipal elections. And with that in mind, a Port City church has signed up to give you a chance to hear from those looking to lead the city. During the event, questions that have been submitted by the people of Mobile will be asked to each candidate. Those involved say this forum is a great way for voters to become familiar with every candidate in an open and respectful environment. So when the time comes for you to fill in your ballot, you can make an informed decision.
When there became multiple candidates, even members of our own congregation started asking, well, who do we vote for? Who does what? Who believes what? And so we feel like that Cottage Hill is uniquely qualified to host a Meet the Candidates forum.
The event is being held next Tuesday, May 6th at 6 o'clock at Cottage Hill Baptist Church. We have more information on how you can submit a question to be asked during that forum on our website, fox10tv.com. And the candidates running for Pritchard mayor gathered last night for a forum in 8 Mile. 6 people sharing their vision for the city and answering questions at Destiny Vision Christian Center Church. Voters were also able to text their questions to the candidates. Well, straight ahead on Fox 10 Midday, it was another big year for Alabama tourism. Plus, Serve, Set, Spike, the NCAA Beach Volleyball Championships happening now in Gulf Shores. Fox 10's Stephen Moody has a preview next, but first, Jen.
And also taking another look at your forecast and talking about the sunrise and the sunset out there. Sunset heading into this evening, 7:32 in Mobile, 7:28 in Pensacola. And then sunrise heading into tomorrow, it's getting earlier, 6:06 to begin in Mobile, 6:03 to start off your Saturday in Pensacola. However, it's going to be a little stormy out there by that point. I'm going to be talking more about that and timing out those rain chances for your Saturday. That's coming up when we come back.
In the country are in Gulf Shores this weekend for the 2025 NCAA Beach Volleyball Championships. Our Stephen Moody has more on the competitive field.
This place is once again packed as we get ready to crown a champion this weekend, and we got a chance to see it all before it got started. Welcome to the 2025 NCAA Beach Volleyball Tournament. It's once again calling Gulf Shores home as 16 of the best teams take to the sand, and fans of all teams are excited.
It's out of this world. The spectacular play, as you'll see, watch all weekend, is just phenomenal year after year after year.
Outstanding. We were here last year and it was amazing, and this year's gonna be too. Woohoo!
And it's especially important for these fans who have family members in the game and coaching it.
We just love following him around and the team.
And we also, luckily, we have another son too,
Yeah,
he's an assistant coach at Cal, and Cal is also here. So for us, it's doubly exciting because we get to come and watch both, and they don't play each other unless they make it to the finals.
Uncle Tim and Aunt Tricia are actually paid her, so we have a personal connection, and we're so excited to see her play again today and see the team play, and hopefully it's going to be just as good a result this year as it was last year.
And speaking of last year, the returning champs, the USC Trojans, have had plenty of success on this court. They've won 4 straight championships here, and they hope to add another.
Oh, it's beautiful. The background everything is surreal here, and hopefully the wind will be surreal too.
Stephen Moody, Fox 10 News.
And speaking of folks on the beach this weekend, listen to this. Alabama just set another tourism record with nearly 29 million visitors last year. Those visitors didn't just come to look around. They spent almost $24 billion. And that's all according to a report released this week. The Gulf Coast played a big role in those numbers. Baldwin County remains the state's top tourist hotspot. Mobile County ranked 3rd, meaning the state's 2 coastal counties together accounted for a quarter of all tourists. Visitor spending also creates a lot of jobs, as we know, in Mobile and Baldwin counties. Their combined direct and indirect tourism-related earnings topped $3.4 billion overall. That comes out to roughly 40% of the state total. Those numbers drawing satisfaction from Crystal Hines, Vice President of Marketing for Gulf Shores and Orange Beach, and Visit Mobile President and CEO David Clark.
We're excited to see those numbers basically flat year over year, which is good for us.
We caught more than our fair share of market compared to the other cities in the state this year.
And get this, hotel occupancy in Mobile County still lags behind other top destinations. Clark says that's because the post-COVID recovery has tilted toward high-end hotels. And he says Mobile simply doesn't have a lot of those. Weekend is one of the most talked about films of the past few years. David Daniel has that and more in today's Hollywood Minute.
Some things in this life you can't get back, I reckon. The Alec Baldwin Western Rust has finally been released, more than 3 years after its cinematographer, Helena Hutchins, was killed in an accident on the set when a live round discharged from the prop gun Baldwin was holding. The film's armorer was convicted of involuntary manslaughter, but a judge tossed the case against Baldwin over an evidence dispute. Rust is now in theaters and on video on demand. Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis fizzled in theaters, but the story continues in 2 dimensions. Megalopolis, an original graphic novel from Abrams Comic Arts, expands on the world of the movie. In a press release, Coppola calls it a sibling of the film rather than just an echo. It's due out this fall.
What the hell going on? Oh, we heard tale of a party.
The party continues for Sinners. Ryan Coogler's box office blockbuster is no longer playing in IMAX, but Warner Brothers, citing overwhelming popular and critical response, is re-releasing it in 9 North American IMAX 70mm theaters May 15th through the 21st. You can see if one of those theaters is near you at imax.com/sinners. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Lots of good options there for your rainy weekend. Well, coming up, final preparations are now underway for the conclave to begin next week. Plus, more shoppers are using Instacart. That story and more in your business headlines. Jen?
And also taking another look at your forecast, a live view outside down on Dauphin Island. Just starting to see all of that sunshine out there. Things are looking great. And as we do take a look over the next 5 hours, what we're going to start to see is those temperatures going up, maxing out in the upper 70s today. More of that cloud cover going to begin rolling in, but hey, a lot of folks getting out there and enjoying the conditions down at the Sea Lab. But I'll be talking more about your forecast and what I'm tracking over the next few days. That's coming up when we come back.
Hawaii may be older than you, but he's possibly in better shape.
Yeah, so John Hayakawa has been training with a professional racquetball player and MMA fighter for 2 years now.
And it all started because he was having trouble getting in and out of his car.
And now he can do more than just that. He can lift weights, and the bounce in his step has returned.
Sure it has. He says instead of saving money to go to a nursing home later in life, spend it now to improve your health.
And his advice for those youngsters in their 50s and their 60s, quote, get off your duff.
How about those of us in our 20s?
I know,
I need
right?
somebody yelling at me to get off my duff. And honestly, just find something that you enjoy, because it's hard going to the gym.
That's exactly right. Stay active after the retirement, but great for you, John. I love to see it.
That's awesome. Well, business cards are necessary for a lot of jobs, but they can easily be left at home or the office.
I'm guilty of that. Now, the dot is supposed to be a business card right there on your wrist.
Rachel Hackbarth puts it to the test in this week's Does It Work?
Networking is one of the most important parts of Katherine Heidel's job as a real estate agent. That means she goes through a lot of business cards.
I try to put things in my purse just to make sure if anyone asks or if I'm in that situation, I'm there to hand one out.
Could the $30 dot band be a more convenient option for Katherine? The silicone bracelet is designed to be a hands-free option for sharing information like your name and number.
Well, I see you like to wear jewelry. Have you ever seen one of these? It's a dot bracelet. It's supposed to be a business card on your wrist. Have you ever heard of this?
I haven't, but this seems pretty cool, so I'm kind of anxious to try it.
No app to download, just a QR code to scan. This page is where we can pick our plan, free or paid, and enter our information.
Real estate.
Ooh, big bold letters.
I know.
The makers claim Catherine's profile should be easily shared when another phone touches her band.
The sweet spot for iPhones is the top, okay? Is it doing it?
That's what I wonder if I have to
do yours first.
I don't know, but some I feel like we need to activate.
A few tries later, we're finally connecting.
Okay, now I had to tap your arm a lot.
I know, but that's okay. I don't
Okay,
mind
but it did pop up.
Okay, good. Yay.
Catherine thinks the dot band works in some ways. It did share information, just not as quickly and easily as she had hoped.
Honestly, I think if you learned how to do everything and it wasn't, it'll get easier. Learning how to do it, figuring it out, honestly, it's kind of fun.
For Does It Work, I'm Rachel Hackbarth.
Now, we did reach out to the makers about our issue connecting the phone and the band. They had not reached out as of news time, but I will say with our job gen, people are always asking for our contact info. I don't carry paper business cards anymore. I actually have an app on my phone that downloads the contact directly, which is kind of cool.
I was gonna say that is the thing of the future. I think in the way moving forward, I've tried to be good about holding on to business cards. Now I just have my husband do it.
It's tough.
Yeah, he just keeps them in his wallet for me whenever I need them. Well, let's go ahead and talk more about your forecast right now. And just a reminder, right now is a great time to go ahead and download the Fox 10 Weather app. That way you're staying updated with the forecast. As you take a look at our Fox 10 Weather app right now, we do have these videos updated daily for you, but it's going to be so important to have this over the next few days, really today and tomorrow, when we're going to be tracking some of those storms. Plus, also, we're talking about the potential for some of those stronger storms tonight. This will automatically send you any of those push alert notifications that you need to know if you're in of those watches or those warnings, even if it's going to be that severe thunderstorm warning for tonight. Let's go ahead and dive deeper into your forecast and take a look at what I'm tracking out there. And conditions down in Orange Beach, what we're starting to see is just more of that rough surf out there. Still a lot of folks getting out there and enjoying it. This has been the most crowded day that I've seen so far. Makes sense as we do get closer towards the weekend. But the temperatures out there resting in the lower 80s, feeling more like 87, however. And the rip current risk is going to be staying high for today and tomorrow. Moderate heading into your Sunday, low heading into next week. But just a reminder for that beach flag system, we have single red flags all across the Gulf Coast right now. Just means high surf, dangerous rip current risk. Please make sure you're being cautious out there. But I'm going to have a final look at your full extended outlook coming up in just a little bit. For right now, a live view outside down on Dauphin Island. We'll be back with 3 to know before you go after this.
Together for an adorable play date, and you have to see it to believe it. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
Take a look at a pair of most improbable playdate partners at this casual canine hangout of the world's tallest and tiniest dogs. The gathering was arranged by Guinness World Records, which awarded Chihuahua Pearl and Great Dane Reggie their respective titles. The odd couple met in Idaho and, after a few tense and cautious moments, seemed to become fast furry friends despite a positively impressive 3-foot height difference. Another unlikely playdate, this one unscheduled, unfolded in Connecticut as a Walcott homeowner watched from a safe distance, taking video of a trio of bears enjoying their backyard playset. It wasn't all fun and games, though. The homeowner shared the vid on socials saying, "Love to wake up to 3 bears playing on our swing set and destroying our garbage." Finally, take a look at an angry bird in Atlanta that isn't playing around in a weird series of run-ins caught on camera by yours truly. There's no news here, but I'm an avid bird watcher and as such couldn't peel myself away from the scene of unsuspecting passersby repeatedly incurring the wrath of a brash bird likely defending a nearby nest. It even chased off a large hawk that entered its no-fly zone. Some were blissfully unaware of the winged vigilante's warmongering, and thankfully all seemed to survive unharmed from the surly bird's furious feathered foul play that unfolded on, wait for it, Fowler Street. This thing writes itself. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Here's 3 to know before you go on this Friday. The Baywatch boat launch is closing for repairs. Located at the mouth of Fish River, it offers great views and great access to the river or Mobile Bay. The upcoming construction is focused on the main source of complaints, There will be parking for 35 vehicles with boat trailers, as well as designated handicap parking spots and tie-down lanes. The project costs roughly $757,000, and it's being paid for through a Go Mesa grant. Finally, the 151st Kentucky Derby is happening this weekend. The hooves hit the ground at Churchill Downs in Louisville on Saturday at just before 7 p.m. Eastern. The four-legged contenders will thunder down the track in the first leg of this year's Triple Crown, one of my favorite events to watch for sure. Now, the Derby, also known as the Run for the Roses, is also known for the distinctive headwear, of course. The long-standing tradition of ornate fascinators and derby hats will once again be on display this year. Now, a courtside proposal. These two basketball referees getting engaged. It happened April 26th at the Duncanville Fieldhouse in Texas. 26-year-old Haley Johnson's now fiance, 23-year-old Christian Wortham, popped the question shortly after a basketball game. Johnson says Wortham asked her to get his water bottle. When she came back around, he got on his knee and asked her to marry him. Of course, she said yes. Jen, I love proposal stories. Were you shocked when Cole surprised you?
I had a little bit of an idea because he gave, I'm calling him out here. He gave me a timeline saying he'll propose by the end of the year. It was December 31st.
So you knew it was coming.
It was literally the last day of the year.
So you knew it was coming.
So
I
knew it was coming.
You have one more day left, and now you're married.
Now we're married, and so I love him, but I got to give him a little bit for that. Well, let's go ahead and talk more about your forecast. And so let's go ahead and time things out. This is going to start off tonight. So we make our way into the overnight hours. Friday night plans, they're looking great. No concerns out there, but it's mainly going to be overnight. That's when the bulk of this rain, some stronger storms could possibly come through. It's going to be stormy and soggy to begin for our Saturday. Great sleeping weather for some of the folks out there. Just make sure that you're staying alert for any of those warnings that you might get. Main concern is those severe thunderstorm warnings for some of that small hail or those gusty winds. And then we make our way into tomorrow. Still staying soggy, especially closer towards the immediate coastline. Sports practices or games keep up updated with the coaches in case there are any delays or cancellations. This rain coverage will only continue throughout tomorrow afternoon and evening. We'll finally start to clear out once we get closer towards Sunday and to begin next week. Again, just stay updated with us by downloading the Fox 10 weather app. That way you can track along with all those storms and know what's going on where you're located.
Great. Well, as always, thanks for watching Fox 10 Midday. We hope you have a wonderful, restful weekend. We'll see you Monday.